Dear devotees, Namaste. Book title God is very near. Feel Him through chanting mantra and Manasika Pooja. Author Guruji R.I. Dhuraimurugar Shiva.
Wisdom of inquiry leads to success. The justice of love is forgiveness. The justice of knowledge is success using one's skill. The justice of law is punishment. Bhagavan Shri Krishna advises Arjuna to live in this world with the wisdom of inquiry. That advice is for all of us. It is wiser to think before speaking than to regret one's words afterwards. Good deeds are generally rewarded with good prospects. The hallmark of a good deed is to continuously remember Bhagavan while carrying out one's routine duties. The world is always waiting to teach us lessons that our parents could not. But we cannot predict whether those lessons will be good or bad. If we have the wisdom of inquiry to judge them, then success will be ours. Once in a village, there lived 4 merchants who went together to a distant town and earned a large sum of money. On their way back home, it grew late in the evening, so they decided to spend the night in a village along the way. Along the roadside, they saw a humble elderly woman selling homemade snacks in front of her home. They went to her and said, "Dear Grandma, we are merchants returning to our village after finishing our business in town. It is quite late now. May we stay at your home tonight and leave tomorrow morning?" The elderly grandmother agreed graciously. The 4 merchants had a pot in which they had kept all their money. Showing it to her, they said, "The money in this pot belongs to all 4 of us. For safety, we will bury this in your backyard. In the morning, you should allow us to take the pot only if all 4 of us come together and ask for it. If any one of us comes alone and asks, please do not accept." With her consent, they buried the pot in the backyard. They ate the dinner offered by the old grandmother and went to sleep. In villages, there is usually a common well where people take bath. The next morning, all 4 merchants went to a nearby well, but they found that there was no bucket or pot to draw water from it. They asked one of them to go to Grandma's house and collect a pot to fetch water from the well. He went to her and asked for a water pot. But the elderly grandma misunderstood, thinking he was asking for the money pot buried in the backyard, and said, "How can I give the pot to you without the permission of the other 3? At that moment, the merchant, tempted by greed, thought to himself, "Ah, this is the perfect chance." He told Grandma, "Please go ahead and ask them." The elderly grandmother then looked toward the other 3, who were standing near the well just within shouting distance, and called out loudly, "Can I give the pot to him?" Thinking she simply meant the pot for drawing water to bath, the other 3 merchants who were waiting near the well said, "Please give the pot quickly, it is getting late." Seizing this opportunity, the 4th merchant dug out the money pot from the backyard and ran off through the back of the grandmother's house. Due to a misunderstanding and failure to apply the wisdom of inquiry, the matter went wrong. After waiting for a long time, the merchants returned to the grandmother's house and asked, "Where is he? We asked him to get a pot for bathing." The grandmother replied, "I asked if I could give him the pot. Since you told me to give it quickly, he took the pot that had been buried and ran off." "Oh, Grandma, we have lost all our entire wealth," cried the 3 merchants, shocked at their loss. They scolded the elderly grandmother. The innocent grandmother replied, "I did ask you before giving it to him." The 3 merchants took the grandmother to the king's court and filed a case against her. The news of the incident spread far and wide, and people gathered in large numbers to see how the king would deliver justice. The king questioned the grandmother about what had happened. The innocent woman replied, "O Prabhu, I allowed them to stay in my home with the intention of helping them. I even served them dinner. How can I be held responsible for one of them running away with the money? The three merchants said, "We had clearly told her to allow us to take the pot only if all four of us came together. But she let one of us take it and we lost all our money." At that moment, some of the people gathered there were discussing, "That elderly grandmother is a very good woman. She earns her living by selling the snacks she makes at home. With her kind and compassionate heart, how could she be held responsible for one of the four cheating the others?" Another group of people in the gathering argued, "If the grandmother agrees to protect the money, then it is her duty to be careful with it." Among them, Raman, a Shiva devotee, stood up, bowed to the king, and asked humbly, "O Prabhu, if you permit me, I can deliver the right judgment in this case." The king, who was struggling after hearing everything, allowed Raman to deliver justice. Raman stepped forward, stood near the king, looked at the three merchants, and asked, "Did you tell the old woman to give the pot only if all four of you came together?" The three of them replied, "Yes, that is correct." Raman said, "I say the same thing to you now. I will arrange to get the money pot from this grandmother. But all four of you should come together. This is my judgment." Hearing Raman's judgment, all the people gathered there cheered and expressed their happiness. The king was pleased with Raman's wisdom. A true devotee's prayer will be accepted and fulfilled by Bhagavan. Forgetting things is natural in human life. One must conquer oneself with oneself, that is, self-conquest. Many good things in our mind are preserved by strict discipline. Bhagavan Shri Krishna advises Arjuna that Vichara Jnana, that is wisdom through inquiry, is necessary so that we do not forget the divine. Since our mind often forgets to remember Bhagavan, it is essential to frequently inquire what it is doing at the present moment. If you learn to inquire within yourself, the tendency to forget will gradually reduce and the remembrance of Bhagavan will increase. Since we need to worship Bhagavan within our mind through Manasika Pooja, our buddhi, that is intellect, must frequently watch our mind. Every day, no matter what work we do, it is important to remember Bhagavan and worship Him by chanting mantra. Don't say you cannot do it. If you try, you will succeed. Our mind should learn to chant the mantra silently within. By doing this, we will always remain close to Bhagavan.
Gratitude, prayer, apologizing to Bhagavan for mistakes, and walking on the righteous path. If these qualities are within you, you will receive His divine grace and succeed in everything.